Welcome
to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans. But you're going to do the intro thing anyways, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
For like the audio only people that listen to this in an hour when we post it.
Oh, I'm not editing this whatsoever. We got everything. It's going to be excellent.
That's fine.
Yes, and if you are watching, we will post our regular audio like normal. The quality on the live stuff isn't quite as good, but don't worry. The regular one will be the same as normal.
So, with that being said, welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Flair.
And this is our Haru Midway episode recap. We have watched through episode 7, some of us cramming all 7 days in one morning.
You know it.
Efficiency.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, we are on Facebook Live. So if you're listening to this in your podcast, you missed us. Maybe you can check us out next time. So hopefully we're going to have a little bit of interaction with the fans on this episode, get some live comments, some questions about what we're talking about. Just want to involve people a little bit more on this, test it out, see how it goes. As you may notice...
Oh, sick burn from the wives right there on the comments.
Who cares?
What'd they say?
They're not important.
Quality over quantity. And then my wife replied, they have neither.
Oh.
Cool.
I think that's
Starting strong.
That's a burn on themselves there. So, as we promised on the preview episode for this Basho, it was only going to be Flaric and I. And then...
I started like looking for hot tubs, like hammocks we can hang out.
Oh, yeah. Flaric, it was going to be a
nice
close,
episode.
intimate podcast between Flaric and I.
Very personal.
And then coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And some people's plans got canceled.
Yes, I am obviously here and not in Arizona. We are taking precautions, though. We are actually recording from different rooms and using an intricate system of mirrors.
Mirrors and cameras.
Mirrors and cameras to appear as if we are sitting next to each other. But no, it was probably for the best because now I don't have to worry about getting any of my family sick, and now someone can actually keep the podcast in line. So,
Yeah, because we weren't going to do it.
No, Mac's usually the keeper of the peace here, but as he is gone, we'll have to find somebody else to do it. So yeah, coronavirus actually a big deal. Kind of like
yeah, I just touched my face.
Wash your hands. Don't do what Jake did. Limit your contact with other people. Stop the spread of it.
I'm putting
Be
some
active.
rye up to my mouth.
Well, I'm not going to put that microphone up to my mouth, so it's okay. And also, coming out later today, after a lot of demand from at least one fan, we will have Grand Sumo Breakdown T-shirts and other memorabilia on sale at, I believe, redbubble.com, Jake?
Yes.
So look out for that later today. We'll send out a message on Facebook and Twitter once that is all ready. But I think... that's all of our housekeeping in line. Do we just want to go ahead and start talking about the Basho so far?
Nah.
Too bad. Here we go.
Actually, before we continue, though, I do have a statement from our legal team.
Oh, okay.
That I had to read off just before we do this. Our first live broadcast, they wanted to make sure that we got a disclaimer on here.
Sure.
So caution: the content you are about to be subjected to is of questionable quality and coherence. Statements made on the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast by Ryan, Flaric, and Jake, hereafter referred to as those jerks, do not reflect the opinions of the greater Breakdown Brands media empire. Furthermore, due to broadcasting the content live, our production team will not be able to edit out common miscues that are normally corrected prior to releasing podcast episodes. We apologize in advance for all of the following events, such as, but not limited to, dogs barking like crazy for no damn reason.
Piper is it here, so that will help.
Yeah, that reduces chances. Wives interrupting the podcast for inane questions and requests.
Which is now going to come into the live feed as they are both watching.
Yeah, but at least it'll be limited to the comments here.
Yeah.
But Ryan's regularly audible flatulence.
It happens.
The microphone we're using to broadcast this live it picks up a lot.
It picks up everything.
Yep, including winding tangents by Jake about sports that aren't even sumo.
Well, that's okay because those don't exist anymore.
That's a good point. And also, of course, Flaric's relentless cursing.
Frack.
Yes, herefore and furthermore and all that legal mumbo-jumbo, the legal firm of Chio, and Chio, a regular advertiser on our show as well.
All right, So now let's talk about the sumo. And let's talk about the leader, the sole leader at 7-0. We have Hakuho, And we have a pack of 5 guys behind him at 6-1, including Sekiwake, Asanoyama, Maegashira 3, Mitakayumi, Maegashira 9, Takanosho, Maegashira 11, Chiyotairyu, and Maegashira 13, Aoyama. So, obviously, Hakuho is the favorite.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was listening back to our preview episode a little bit this morning just to kind of remember what we talked about, and I jokingly said, like, oh, yeah, I don't really expect a whole lot out of Hakuho this Basho, so obviously he's going to get a Zensho Yusho. Turns out I might sarcastically be right about it this time.
Of these guys, I'm pretty impressed with Chiyotairyu, actually, because there was that one day that it looked like he hurt his ankle, and then
Where he was wheelchaired out?
Yeah, and he thudded to the ground with like the loudest noise I've ever heard out of the dohyo on a sumo broadcast, and somehow is apparently fine.
He somehow transferred all of his injury onto Tsudu Gisho, who pulled out of the tournament the day after Chiyotairyu got hurt. I watched the Tsudu Gisho match. Absolutely nothing happened to him. He was just like calmly walked out of the ring. But we'll get to more as to why he pulled out later.
I was gonna say he looked a little rough like the whole entire time.
Yeah. So obviously Hakuho is the favorite. Fleric, out of the 5 guys and people listening live, you can tell us who do you think out of the 5 guys that are back at 6 wins, who do you think will take over the lead if Hakuho should falter?
Oh, you know what my answer is going to be.
Takanosho?
No, it's obvious. You're fool. It's obviously going to be the future Yokozuna that's going to be the one that's maybe not so much.
Maybe not.
Maybe not so much. I don't think so. Obviously, it's Mitakayumi, I would say.
You think so?
Yeah. I think he's been looking up to his Sekiwake form, at least of the Sanyaku, and I think of all these people, I kind of trust is probably him, because he's the one who won a Yusho before, right?
Yeah, he's got 2, and Asanoyama has 1. So, there is some winning experience in that pack. I would say Asanoyama is probably the guy that I have as my next favorite. Even though one of his 6 wins was a Fusen win, I still have been very, very impressed with him this tournament.
Yeah, he's definitely putting forward some really good sumo this time. I think Asanoyama has the best chance of overtaking Hakuho here because he still has a chance to face Hakuho head-to-head. Mitakayumi, he lost to Hakuho already, and so Asanoyama has a chance to get a win over Hakuho and force the loss onto him, where Takayumi, he has to hope somebody else beats Hakuho. He can't take his destiny into his own hands. So that's why I would give Asanoyama a little bit of the advantage. But your joke about Aoyama might not really be a joke. There was a Basho a couple years ago where it was down to Aoyama and Hakuho to the final day where there's just one match in between them, and Aoyama ended up going like 13-2 that Basho. He's down at Maegashira 13, so he has a chance to do that himself.
Mm-hmm. It does kind of feel like he might be like someone who just goes undefeated at where he's at in the Banzuke, and then as soon as he gets like matchups with higher up the Banzuke, kind of get beat down, but probably good enough for a Jin Yusho kind of performance. That's why I'm kind of getting the feeling from Aoyama.
Yeah, he's done that before, right? I think he has a Jun Yusho.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. And so we do have one vote from Carolina Vienna. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. It's also far away from me, so it's hard for me to see. But she is thinking that Asanoyama can get a win over Hakuho, get 12 wins, that he will become Ozeki. So yeah, after the first week, what do you guys think of Asanoyama's Ozeki chances for this Basho?
I think it's pretty strong, and I think I'm a little biased because I really, really, really want it to happen too.
What about you, Fleric?
I'm sorry, I was too enamored with the fact that people are chatting on our video.
It's actually working.
You also missed that there have been requests for a GSB disc.
Let's make that happen.
We are no closer to being able to do that now, but at least the idea has been floated out there. So yes, I'm sure that we will do what we can to figure that out. That would be fun.
I'll make that my top priority to make that happen.
Yeah.
Tommy is also thinking that Takanosho has a chance to take it. He's thinking that he's far enough down the Banzuke that he's not going to face anybody too strong probably until the end, similar to Tokushoryu last time.
Right, like he'll have to get up into the double-digit wins before he starts facing Sanyaku guys or something like that, maybe.
How many more wins do you guys need to see from Takanosho before you start taking him seriously, like Tokushoryu last time?
Before I remember who he is, at least 2 or 3. But I swear I have never seen him wrestle before.
Him and Shimano Umi, you just have no idea who either of them are.
I have never heard that name in my life. I don't know. Takanosho, I completely forgot that he was in that front runners pack here. Like that, I don't know. At least a few wins.
Yeah. So we've talked about the guys at the top, but let's talk about the biggest story of the Haru Basho, and that is that there is nobody at the Haru Basho. How has that really affected your guys' viewing experience? Because I know for myself, the first day it was really weird, like not hearing the like ebbs and the flows with the crowd as like somebody's get pushed to the edge, but they fight back and move back to the middle, and then
the
push
crowd
the
goes
guy.
nuts. Yeah.
Not hearing that was really weird, but I'm used to it now. Like it doesn't bother me at all, and I might like it better.
Thank goodness Gyojis exist. You know, if we didn't have someone kind of yelling like during the whole entire match, that kind of gets hyped up, like it would just be even weirder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was just going to ask you guys, like, how has it affected you at all, Jake?
For me, it's the sound is for sure the thing. It's depending on which video you're watching and which day and how they put together their highlights and stuff like that. Different videos show different things, but the couple times that I've seen the Yokozuna Dohyo Iris at the during the highlights have
awkward.
been really, really weird.
Yeah.
Like hearing Hakuho like slap his foot down to the ground where the crowd usually goes nuts, and then he just kind of breathes heavily while he shuffles his feet back in, and it's just really weird.
You gotta imagine what's running through his head as he's doing that to absolutely no one in complete silence.
Yeah. Oh well. But the other thing was like I mentioned before with Chiyotairyu, hearing the ring sounds. So I think it was just day 7 here where Tochinoshin and Takara Fuji were like loudly grunting at each other the whole time they were wrestling. It was a great match and it lasted for a little while, but it was so weird to just like hear that heavy breathing and that grunting in between Gyoji yells.
Yeah.
But yeah, hitting the ground that one day for Chiyotairyu is the weirdest and kind of scariest sound that I've heard.
I think the worst thing that has come out of all of it was when Takayasu injured himself in the match against Kakuryu, and I'm fairly positive the sound that you hear right when he overextends his knee, I'm pretty sure you could hear like his muscles popping or tearing or whatever happened to them, because there's a definite like pop sound as soon as like he overextends, and then that's immediately when he goes down and grabs his leg.
I'm gonna take your word for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I recommend going back and watching video of that to listen to it, but in retrospect, no, don't do that. Save yourself the pain. We do have a question about, with all the stuff that has been going on in the U.S. with like sports being pushed back a month and pretty much all NCAA sports being canceled, do you think the next Basho, the Natsu Basho, might be in jeopardy to be either without fans or just canceled altogether?
I think it's very much the case we see another Basho that's probably similar to this. But just kind of how the next couple weeks go, I think would determine a lot about whether or not it's actually canceled, especially if you get a couple of Rikishi that are sick themselves. As we've seen with the NBA, as soon as you get a player that's sick, the whole kind of league's been canceled.
Yep, Rudy Gobert, he tested positive for coronavirus, and then that's immediately when NBA is like, nope, we're done.
Yep, and that is exactly what the Sumo Association announced they would do. If anybody involved tested positive, we're done. We're calling it.
Yeah,
I liked the. I'm sure we talked about it on the preview. Like for the other rules that they announced, like if somebody has a fever that's too high, they're just Kyujo. You're out.
Mm-hmm. They had a couple people like that, I think, already.
Has that happened already? Like lower divisions, maybe?
Mm-hmm. I think,
has it really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I saw some thread on Sumo forums. Like, there's one guy in the beginning who's been Kyujo. I guess he's coming back because it's been getting better. And I think I heard someone new, like, in the last couple of days is going to be jumping out.
Okay. Well, good. I think that's... I would much prefer people be overly cautious, especially because at the end of the day, it's just sports.
Yeah.
You know, like, this isn't... Nobody is like... Yes, there's loss of money involved here, but, like, the safer thing is definitely to be cautious.
Yeah. This reminds me of Jurgen Klopp, I think it was the manager of Liverpool.
Everything reminds you of Liverpool somehow, doesn't it, Flair?
It's my new thing. But he said, like, football it's easy to see football as, like, the most important thing of the least important things. And I think sports in general are kind of like that. It's like it feels like the most important thing of the least important things. And like you said, it's just sports at the end of the day.
Yep.
I think it's a little different for sumo because it's not necessarily just sports. For Japan, there is a little bit more to it. It's part of their culture, so they might be a little bit more hesitant to just completely cancel something. I think we'll probably see fans back for the next Basho, but at this point, things change on a daily basis, so who really knows? Maybe by the time we're doing the review episode, it is smoke and mirrors that puts us all in the same room.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out a lot, at least in the U.S., the next couple of weeks. I know, like, the sports league, like the Ultimate Frisbee Sports League I'm helping organize on the high school level is just everything's kind of postponed for a while, and we're just kind of waiting to like just kind of see how stuff goes to see whether or not we're going to cancel the season entirely.
Yep.
We did get a question or just somebody noting that, prize envelopes are smaller this Basho, and it is 100% because sponsors are pulling out due to the lack of the live audience. I know some of the people at Tachiai were keeping like a count of how many Kensho were available for each match. And there's definitely not as many fat stacks to go around this Basho as there were last time.
Yeah, and it does feel kind of petty to like be thinking about it from the money side, but they can't go even holding stuff behind closed doors. They can't do that indefinitely because they're losing all of that attendance revenue. And if that's been factored into their budget, like it's inevitable that if we were to keep holding Bashos with no people, eventually with no audience, eventually the money's going to run out and we just have to cancel stuff.
Yeah. I think, Flarek, you just found what you were talking about, lower division guys.
Yeah, we don't know exactly who. Some with a degree of 38 degrees Celsius, but he was diagnosed with gastrointestinal cold at the hospital.
Just for clarification for everybody listening and not reading what Flarek said, gastrointestinal was the word he tried there.
That's the one I was going for. Thank you.
Well done. Good reading, Ryan.
You always have my back, Ryan.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
So let's go a little bit more in depth into the Takayasu injury. As we mentioned, it happened at the end of his match against Kakuryu when he kind of overextended his knee. And like I said, there was a audible popping sound, and that's like the most pain I've seen a Rikishi in, I think, ever. He was just on the ground. He wasn't moving. And it was also the most awkward thing that I've seen just because they just kept Kakuryu had to walk past him, squat down, accept his Kensho, leave. You could kind of tell Kakuryu was hesitant to do a lot of this stuff because I think Kakuryu is one of the genuine great guys of sumo wrestling.
I believe you, but I think a lot of people will disagree with you on that one.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, with Hakuho?
Kakuryu.
Oh, Kakuryu. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. My bad. Continue.
Oh yeah, no, he's great.
He's good. He's a good guy.
But yeah, he
buys lunchbox.
He had to leave the dojo.
To help.
He wanted to help, but he had to leave the dojo, and then you had just the Yobidashi and no medical professionals coming in. Just them all right, get up, get off the dojo. We got sumo to do.
Yep, move along.
Yeah. Once again, just another thing that we talk about over and over again, how we're used to much better medical assistance at live sporting events to immediately help these people that are clearly injured and to prevent any further injury, which I think is the biggest point. The way that they had to get Takayasu off the dojo really affected, he had to use his leg more, and that could have affected the severity of his injury.
I'm bringing up Tachiai. I want to see if they've updated their scandal counter. Nope, I guess not.
We're not counting that as a scandal.
Yet, at least. So Tachiai has a how many days ago was the last sumo scandal counter on their website, and the last one was the first aid incompetence around Kizaki Yumi last Basho, where he fell off the dojo, crunched his whole neck area, and just looked terrible.
Yeah,
looked like a potential concussion, and they just kind of waited for him to get up. I don't know, but this seems like a very similar situation where it's the only guy nearby who's strong enough to help someone as big as Takayasu up and into a wheelchair, they just get out of here. Just go. Let's let three tiny guys try and lift him up and help him out.
Yeah. And so the medical certificate for Takayasu has come out, and it says that he has damage to all three hamstring muscles. Conservative treatment will require 4 weeks of rest. And so our initial reaction was okay, yeah, sure, whatever. We're we're not going to see him in May, I believe. But Flerick, before we were recording for the audio-only version, you were kind of talking about why that is that it's only like 4 weeks of rest.
Yeah, this was something, once again, I found on sumoforum.net. I'm not sure about the whole entire validity of it, but it was something along the lines of when you go in for like a medical examination, usually like the most they can give like 4 weeks or maybe like 6 weeks at a time. And then after that, even if it might be a little bit longer, there's some kind of weird Japanese medical law where that's the case. And you can always go back after that time to go get another certificate if you need more time. But that might be kind of the reasons why we see these outrageous like healing times because of that.
Yeah, it's just the default that they have to say. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know, but if that is the case, though, that's kind of a bummer because that takes away like one of my favorite sumo inside jokes. Is like, this man is dead. 3 weeks rest.
Yeah. We did receive a question from a fan on Twitter from @Baravesia asking, after the injury to Takayasu, will we ever see him again? So he had that elbow injury, which he clearly was not fully recovered from, and now he has what looks to be a severe knee injury. He's 30 years old. He just got demoted from Ozeki. He's going to be at the very bottom of the Maegashira ranks for the next Basho. They could even demote him all the way down to Juryo. Do you think we see Takayasu again?
Everyone's looking at me because you guys know he's my favorite guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, good, because I had a lot to say about this. And I don't know. I am doubtful that we do see him back just because he is on the wrong side of 30 and he's had several injuries here. Like significant ones, like not just, wear and tear. He's got like actual point to it. That's the thing that is totally wrong with his body right now. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of what we've seen from Tochinoshin recently. And for Tochinoshin, like it's just kind of wearing him down a little slower. But Takayasu, I don't know. I just really don't want to see. I don't want to have to listen to him lay on the dohyo and cry again. Like that was the most heart-wrenching thing, even without hearing the pop that you heard, Ryan. Yeah, he's definitely my first favorite guy in sumo. Like from near the beginning, that he was kind of the guy that I always like to latch onto, and I don't want to see him put himself through that again if it's not going to happen.
Yeah, we got a little bit of mixed reaction from the people in our chat. We got somebody saying that they got a bad feeling that this is the end or close to it for Takayasu.
Tommy says he just needs more tape.
Yeah. Somebody else said that they think Takayasu's got a lot of spirit and that he'll be back.
Robbie says he's got a famous wife. I want to know more about that. I want to know as much as I can about Takayasu, so next time I go to Japan, I can make him my friend, whether or not he's wrestling.
I hear you have a famous wife.
Yes. I know all of the things about your personal life. Would you like to hang out?
I think that always goes over well.
Yes, celebrities love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Takayasu, I think I talked about this on the preview. Until I see him actually recover from his injuries, like I'm not too hopeful that he's going to come back either. Mm-hmm. But I would say I was super happy to see him at the Maegashira ranks because he was actually able to face Ozeki right in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Not Ozeki, but Yokozuna right in the beginning.
Yep.
Like his match against Hakuho brought the intensity for that match. And Takayasu, he also just matched it, and it was a fantastic match. Yeah. It was probably the favorite match in the Basho so far, I would say.
Oh, really? I thought his one against Kakuryu was even better. He almost had Kakuryu out.
I could not watch that replay.
That's you know what? Fair. That's a good point.
Yeah. So my notes say no, and then something about it looks like his leg got hyperextended. He instantly reached.
And then, oh god, the humanity. Yeah. Robbie followed up a singer of some sort, perhaps the vocal variety. You think?
That's a pretty solid guess right there.
I don't know, but I'm going to scour the internet and potentially learn Japanese for this.
You should share your single of the Piano Man that you released.
Yes, I'll send that to Takayasu. See if that makes him my friend.
And somebody else is creeping on Takayasu Mom's Facebook page, saying that his wife
touching my face.
Looks sweet and thoughtful. So we're gonna.
Oh, that's great.
Through some crowdsourcing, we're going to know everything people will need to know about Takayasu's wife by the end of this episode.
Yeah, we need to make Takayasu and Jake friends before the year's out. Let's make that our mission, guys.
So let's talk about the other guy who's pulled out of this Basho real briefly. Already mentioned Tsurugisho. Didn't really see anything, but it just sounds like kind of an accumulation of things that have happened to him throughout the past few years. So his medical certificate says that he has a herniated disc from 2017, a torn cruciate ligament from January of 2020 when he should have pulled out in the last Basho.
That one was rough.
Yeah. And on top of that, a damaged meniscus. 3 weeks.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So something else that I learned after Kakuryu lost on day 2 to Hokuto Fuji, apparently Kakuryu is under pressure to perform well this Basho or retire. The Japanese newspapers are calling this a make or break tournament for him. So it sounds like the Yokozuna Deliberation Council has not been impressed by Kakuryu pulling out of the previous 3 tournaments, and they need to see him do well this tournament or they'll recommend for him to retire.
Has there been 3 tournaments?
It has. He hasn't finished one, I think, since Aki of last year.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where he won the Yusho.
No, since Nagoya of last year.
He has, this would be the 4th in a row if he did pull out or something.
But he has started off 5-2, gave up,
which sucks for Kakuryu.
Well, especially when he gave up the Kinboshi to Tokushoryu. Mac in our group chat that we have throughout the Basho, he said that, like, what's the point for Tokushoryu to keep going anymore? He should just retire. Like, what else is there for him to do? He's 33 years old. He won the Yusho. He just got a Kinboshi. Like, just call it a career, man.
Yeah.
You're fine, dude.
Yeah. I will say on the Kakuryu point, like, normally I'm against the Yokozuna Deliberation Council. Bleh.
You got there?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm sorry. It was pointed out in the comments, Tsurugisho, this is the first time he's ever missed a match. Good catch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
that was on the commentary. Thank you, Robbie.
Okay.
that's pretty cool. So normally I'm against them, kind of, because I feel like they're just giving unnecessary pressure. But I kind of okay with them this time, just give that extra pressure to go through all the days, especially when there's 2 Yokozuna looking like they might be lasting the whole entire time. I would love to see a Yokozuna versus Yokozuna at the end match.
Yeah, I think Kakuryu, he's 5-2. He's given up a couple of losses, but I think he would need to put together like probably 3 more losses in a row. He'd probably need to push it to like 5-5 before he'd pull out, and then they could be like, oh, yeah. You need to retire. I think at this point he's looking good enough. He doesn't seem injured, or at least severely injured. I think he can keep it going for this tournament, get probably like 11 wins, and keep his career going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks healthy to me too. I would just hate that if he wants to drop out just because he's not in the Yusho race. I hate when people decide
Kakuryu doesn't seem like the kind of guy that does that. He seems like he pulls out because, like, oh, I'm not going to get 10 wins. And then the pressure's really going to be on me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you remember he was in trouble a number of years ago, like late 2017, it looks like, when there's that dog we called it, didn't we?
Yep.
Late 2017, he missed 4 tournaments in a row, and then he roared back with an 11-4 and then 2 consecutive U-shows.
Yep.
So it could just be the case like that. I mean, that situation could arise again. He's 34, so it's not as likely.
Yeah.
But, he's younger than Hakuho, isn't he?
Yeah, Hakuho's 35 at this point.
Yeah. Whatever.
And there's been a lot of comments that I've seen on Twitter. I'm not good enough at seeing like technique and stuff like that. That Hakuho, despite having an undefeated record, like his quality of sumo is really diminished. I think you could tell because he can never get a grip with his arm. That he injured the bicep, I think, about a year ago at this point. So it makes sense. But yeah, we already heard that Hakuho's planning on retiring soon, anyways. So we already talked about Asanoyama and his Ozeki push, but I've been tracking the weather in Osaka over the tournament. So the temperatures in Osaka
it's about time this meme came back.
Have been in the upper 60s and 50s through days 1 through 6. So that's not terribly cold at all. But day 7 was the coldest day in Osaka since the Basho started, with a high of only 50 degrees. Mitake Yumi lost his first match on day 7 of the tournament.
My God.
Coincidence?
Yes.
I dare say no.
We dare say yes.
Despite the fact that he was going up against the best of all time in sumo wrestling on the same day. If it had been like 5 degrees warmer, Mitake Yumi would have bowled over and won, and just easily won the Yusho after this point. So,
yep. Yep, whatever, bud.
Yep.
You all know I'm correct. Don't worry about it.
Hopefully it warms up or it cools down. He still like gets to the Jinyu show. I think that would be my favorite thing to happen. If it gets really cold in Osaka, and then like Mitake Yumi just goes on tear and gets the Jinyu show.
Can't happen.
It will.
Ryan's done studies. It's physically impossible.
So we got Mike in our chat saying that Kakuryu is done with double-digit wins. We heard it from Mike first.
Take.
You're done with double-digit comments, Mike.
Oh,
Shut your mouth.
Sick burn.
Flerick banning people from the chat.
Oh, man. And then Carolina here says Kakuryu will retire if he obtains his Japanese citizenship and acquires the Izutsu Kabu. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think he's one of the guys that'll stay in the sumo world if he does retire here?
I've heard some wrestlings on Twitter that it sounds like he's probably going for his Japanese citizenship, but that takes time. And so he probably really wants to stick in sumo until he gets that citizenship. I don't know if you've heard anything on that, Flerick, at all.
I haven't, no.
Okay.
I could see it, though.
So we had somebody ask at like the top of the episode, but I want to get to them a little bit later. But Enho and Koto Nowaka, what are our thoughts on those two guys so far this tournament?
I think Enho, the jokes we've been making are finally coming true, that
Jake
he
is
has
so
hit his
happy.
ceiling. And I don't know, it was kind of funny just to see it continue going every single Basho where I say he's hit his ceiling and then he does great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really seems like he has hit his ceiling here. He's kind of, I feel like I would refer to him as like an IQ test kind of wrestler for like as an opponent. So like the guys at the top who are, you know, obviously everybody is bigger than Enho, but like you got to be at least smart and disciplined about it, and you're probably going to be okay. Just keep him from getting in on your leg or your belt or whatever, and just be patient. And the guys that can do that have been not having too much trouble with him.
Yeah, Takakeisho and Kakuryu easily dispatched with Enho with no issues whatsoever.
That Kakuryu match was hilarious. Like Kakuryu was just kind of shuffling around the middle of the ring, like, hey, just you don't get too close. You know, he's just pushing him away, and then eventually Enho just kind of like flails around and goes to the ground, and Kakuryu's like, oh, watch out, careful, I don't want to break him. I don't know. That one was really funny to me. But yeah, there were some other...
the Yutakiyama match.
That is what I was just going to say. That was one of the weirdest sumo matches I've ever seen. It looked like a pro wrestling, like the beginning of a pro wrestling match.
Yeah, they were going for the old-fashioned test of strength.
The test of strength with the locked hands and everything.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. It was a terrible precedent because they were holding hands for such a long time.
Ooh, yes.
In the current climate, you should not be doing that.
Not practicing good personal hygiene there.
Indeed.
But I think this is like the second tournament in a row where Enho and Yutakiyama have gone up against each other where there's no charge at the Tachiai whatsoever. They just both stand up and look at each other and then just like, what you
What do we
doing,
do
buddy?
now?
Yeah. What do we do?
No. Come here.
You go.
So, as mentioned at the top of the show, here goes my first non-sumo related sports tangent.
Okay.
The matchup there was very similar to the UFC title fight this last weekend, where the two guys that were going against each other are pure counter fighters, and that Enho is definitely in that category. I didn't really think Yutakiyama was kind of there, but maybe against Enho he's like super careful. But like when you have two guys that are best at capitalizing on the other person's mistakes, and they both want to do that at the same time, they just kind of wait. They just kind of stare at each other. And I wasted 25 minutes of my life watching Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. And yeah, like,
That's funny.
but yeah, I think it's the reason I bring it up is I feel like it's a similar mindset. Enho needs the bigger guy to overextend. He needs him to be off balance in order for him to use what little size he has to, try and mess you up.
Yeah, and I think Yutakiyama realizes that, and that's why he kind of no impact Tachiai just kind of stood up, and he's just
Exactly.
kind of waiting for Enho to do something and then capitalizing on it.
Exactly.
And I believe Yutakiyama won that match, correct?
Yes, he
Oh,
did.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So like I put down my notes, it's probably the correct style to be Enho, but it's kind of not the most interesting, I would kind
Yeah.
of say.
It's fun, I think, now because it's novel. But if we get 15 matches where Enho just stands up and stares at the other guy and then just gets slammed aside, that's the later part of his career won't be as interesting as his rise to the top here.
Yeah.
But
It would be a shame. It would be cool if Enho finds a way to kind of find a way through that and still find wins, if that becomes the case.
So, Flerick, in your rushing through of all of the day's matches this morning, what were your thoughts on Koto Nowaka?
He's the newish guy.
He's the
from
newcomer,
Juryo.
yep.
He seems to be on that like double-digit win pace, doesn't he?
He's
For
5-2.
the newcomer. Yeah, it's so weird how there's usually always one person every other basho or so who's like newcomer to Juryo, and they end up just getting double-digit wins. I guess he's been getting wins, which has been cool. I don't think anything's really impressed me about his style too much.
He seems like he has solid fundamentals. He has he's got a belt game. He's not like just a pure pusher thruster. So he has like the potential to kind of get that Yokozuna style that people talk about. But it's obviously far too early in his career to know anything really. But he does have a good belt game, it seems like. So maybe he's somebody to look out for in the future. But obviously we have to wait a while and see what turns out.
Yeah, it's still too early. It doesn't remind me of Kiri Bayama. Was he the guy last time that likes to like spin all the time?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's not.
He got one spin in so far this tournament.
he lost by spin. Did he get a win by it, or are you just thinking about the time he lost?
He lost.
Okay.
Yeah. He definitely doesn't have the flash to him like Kiri Bayama, which I'm realizing I kind of really like that guy because I am enjoying watching his matches a lot. But yeah, I think time will tell. It definitely seems like straightforward sumo at the moment.
If I may interject, we have two excellent comments here. First, shout out to Molly, our college buddy, who is now joining us.
Co-host of the Semi-Sages of the Pages podcast, if you're into literature and learning how to write.
Also, Molly commented, did Mac die?
I mean,
Yes. Mac he's dead and gone. And
this is how we mourn him.
Yeah.
This is how we mourn.
3 weeks till he gets better.
Also, Skylar says, can you guys just get famous so you can do this stuff more regularly? Trying.
Yeah. What do you think this is? This is an attempt at getting more famous.
The first step is getting Takayasu and Jake friends.
Yes.
Make
Skylar,
that happen.
Make it happen.
Well, the first step is
It's gonna be
getting
a team effort.
our beautiful faces out to the world, to all 20 people watching
Let me
this.
just adjust this camera.
Hold on,
here.
hey.
As soon as we said that, drop down.
And nobody's watching anymore.
All right, that's fair.
That seems about right.
So is there anybody else that has caught your guys' eye before we move on to just some fan questions that we've got from Twitter that you want to talk about? I think for me, I've been very happy with Onosho this basho. He seems to kind of be over his balance troubles. He hasn't really stumbled forward in like 5-6 straight matches like he does every other tournament. I believe he started off 5-2, so really happy to see Onosho doing well for 2 basho in a row. Hopefully he can keep that rolling and get back to Komosubi where he was a couple years ago.
Yeah, we bring it up occasionally, but he and Takakeisho have a rivalry that stretches back to middle school, and I'm really hoping he gets high enough up there for them to start facing off regularly again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been impressed so far too. The person I want to talk about, which we kind of talked about, but then we went right back to talking about Kakuryu, is Tokushoryu. He got a Kimboshi.
He did. He beat
my
Kakuryu.
Goodness. My man. I think the other than the Takayasu injury, all the injuries that happened so far, I think the biggest injustice for this basho is the fact that Tokushoryu doesn't get a crowd to cheer him on every single match before and after. I mean, because he is a hero.
Could help
He
him.
deserves it.
It could help him, really. I mean, it couldn't hurt him. He's 1-6.
Yeah, let's just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks for Tokushoryu here.
He almost had 2 straight Kimboshi, too, because he was really close to Hakuho at one point. That match was a lot closer than your face indicates you think it was,
Yeah,
Jake.
maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but we definitely are remembering it differently.
Yeah.
He put a tough fight up against Hakuho.
And then he got smushed.
Yeah, so Tokushoryu is performing exactly how we thought Tokushoryu was. I can't remember if it was Mac or somebody on this podcast said like he'd get like beat the Yokozuna and then lose every other match. And so, yeah, he is on pace for exactly that.
Speaking of beating the Yokozuna and losing every other match, Daisho's doing okay.
Oh yeah.
He's
What,
kinda,
4-3?
Yeah, he's not doing his normal gimmick of like show up really hard against the guys that are really good and then crap the bed otherwise. He did lose to both Yokozuna and Asanoyama, but those are his only losses, and I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of with those.
No.
He beat Takakeisho, Hokuto Fuji, Shodai, Yutakiyama. Do we have to start taking him seriously now?
We'll see how he finishes it out. He is an 8-7 machine. So until proven otherwise, he's currently 4-3. There's
He's
no
on pace.
reason to think he'll do anything else. So he's a guy like Hokuto Fuji and Endo who has just been hovering around M1 Komosubi for the past year or so. So who knows if he will kind of get past that hump, make it up to Sekiwake, and make a real push for Ozeki. But he's one of the top 10 guys in sumo right now. I don't think you can say otherwise.
I mean, I can, but it's not correct.
Well, you said
Exactly.
like 8-7 or so. That means like 7. Yeah, that works out. Never mind.
Yeah.
Fair play.
So let's move on to some questions that we got before we started recording from Twitter. So at Undisputed DMG, what is the best grocery store in Iowa, and why is it Fairway? It's not Fairway.
There's more to groceries than meat counters. And I know that's Fairway's claim to fame, but
Yes.
I was going to say, Fairway's meats are top notch.
right. And I won't. No one's disputing that here. I mean, of course, we all live in Iowa. We know what's up. But Hy-Vee is much closer to my house.
Hy-Vee also used to employ me, so I appreciate the money that they gave me in high school. They also will deliver the groceries to my door. So for that, I also vote for Hy-Vee.
From what I've heard of all the layoffs, used to be employed by Hy-Vee is a popular thing lately.
I think
Zing.
yeah. Also, Hy-Vee's like bakery department, they have super up their game in the past year or so. Their donuts are legit. They have fantastic like cupcakes that you can buy over there. Highly recommend going to a Hy-Vee bakery if you are in the Midwest.
Go Fairway.
Apparently, Flarrick's all in on the Fairway.
I did not expect this one to be an argument.
I guess some people in the chat want to talk more about real sumo. So Tommy is saying that Kotowako is looking real good down in Juryo. I believe he is 6-1 in Juryo.
Let's take a look.
I'm not going to lie, I haven't been able to catch the Juryo matches this Basho, but it doesn't surprise me that Kotowako is doing well down there. It was actually really surprising how poorly he did in the previous tournament, going just 2-13 to send him down there.
Yeah, he is tied for the lead with, big surprise here, Teruno Fuji, who is rocketing his way back up to the top division.
Wakataka Kage gave Teruno Fuji his lone loss so far.
There you go. Wakataka Kage only one win off the pace. He's at 5-2. And Kotowako is facing Wakataka Kage on day 8.
Might have to
That
start.
might be a fun one.
Yeah, I might have to start paying attention to Juryo this Basho. I could go back to Sumo Nato's channel and watch all the Juryo matches there.
He has been pretty good about that. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And
that sounds like an exciting race down in Juryo, actually, with Teruno Fuji.
So far it's exciting, and it's shouldn't be one of those Juryo races where it's like 5 people at 10-5. It sounds like we should have a couple of people that are actually doing well.
Well, that's until Kotoeko beats not Kotoeko. Wakataka Kage beats Kotoeko, and then someone else gets one off of Teruno Fuji. Then we have a four-person race right there.
Right.
I'd be all for that, definitely.
Grand supermarket breakdown. That's a good comment. I like
Hey,
that one.
you tell us what stores you want us to talk about, and we will break it down aisle by aisle, department by department for you. We've seen them all. Walmart, check. Aldi, check.
Basically
Other ones,
experts.
Yeah. You were in Minnesota. You probably know Cub Foods.
Oh, yeah. And Rainbow, if they're still around, and Byerly's, and some other ones.
That'll be our side project. That'll be the one that takes off and gets us famous.
There's
Kowalski's.
Sugars, good small town Iowa. Sugars, local place.
All right, let's talk about something a little bit more important than supermarkets. At Josh I, and Jake, I'm going to direct this towards you. If it's true that a shampoo can not only clean but condition, why do we ever buy conditioner? You, as the residential person with the best hair on this podcast,
It's about time I was recognized.
what is your hair routine, and what are your thoughts on a shampoo conditioner combined?
I will not talk on this topic. It is a trade secret.
I mean, that's fair, but also,
Sorry, Josh.
people wanna know.
I will not tell my secrets. Certainly not in public.
it's probably disgusting. He probably uses like cow manure.
Actually, the secret is I just do nothing and it's natural.
Unfortunately, I believe it. No, so I used to use like a 3-in-1 body wash, shampoo, conditioner thing from Old Spice in college. And then I think it was Parks and Rec, Ron Swanson said, like, don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. So I'm thinking, clearly this combined thing is just half-assing shampoo
Three
and
things.
conditioner and body wash. So it's not doing any of those good, so I'm going to buy them separately.
I think 3-in-1 is for guys in college who are like $4 for a bottle of this stuff.
Yeah, you're describing my situation perfectly.
And I only have to buy it once a month, but still $4.
Oh, once a month? Like,
Yikes.
that's good for a year.
You ration it. That's why you always smelled so funny.
At Damoon Rules, getting back to sumo here, do you think you could beat Hattori Sakura in a sumo bout? I could say unequivocally, yes, I believe I could. Could I actually? Maybe not, but in my head, 100% I could take him out.
Here is how I will phrase it. I am 100% certain that two of us could take out Hattori Sakura, but I'm not certain about that for anyone in the top division.
Like two of us at the same time?
At the same time.
Okay.
Yes. If any two of us were in the ring with Hattori Sakura, there'd be no doubt. But any four of us in the ring with Hakuho, and we would have zero chance.
I don't know. We could get Flarik jumping on his back, and you like grab one leg, Mac will grab the other leg, then I'll take the glory as I tackle Hakuho down to the ground. We can make it
bounce
happen.
right off his belly.
I think our only chance would be to like tabletop him over like one of like whoever survives, like tabletop him over the other three corpses of the rest of us.
Hold on. We have a very important comment from somebody named Gabrielle Kathleen. Not sure who that is.
Yeah,
says
or who she's
Ryan
married to.
actually smells very good.
You can't really trust people on the internet.
Yeah. Don't
sorry.
believe everything you read.
Hold on. Catherine Marie also says he does. It's true.
That's so strange that people that aren't in this room feel like they get a vote on this.
Thank you to Gabrielle and Catherine, whoever you may be.
Carolina or Carolina, I'm not sure. Either way, Hattori Sakura's overall win-loss record.
Ooh.
Let me just bring this one up for you.
Let's say dire.
He's 0-3 this time.
Yes.
He is 3-182
With one missed match in his career.
with one absence. Yes.
Yes. So through 28 Basho, he has amassed 3 career wins. So Flarik, do you think you could beat Hattori Sakura? Right now, you were transported to Japan
now.
in a dojo, dressed as you are. Could you beat Hattori Sakura?
I'm trying to think like whether or not I'll have to probably. I feel the same with Jake. I think I would maybe have a shot, but I think is also kind of deceptive from the camera of where
Yeah.
Granted he's losing a lot to people who are looking to enter pro sumo, but I am definitely not a pro sumo wrestler or anything about wrestling at all.
See, here's my
So
thing.
I don't think I'll be a favorite in the least. Maybe a shot though.
He like starts all of his matches the same way, where he just like slowly moves forward and puts his arms out. I feel like a real solid double leg takedown would just take care of him immediately.
Here, let me put it this way though.
You say this
The
on the
reason
podcast,
that-
he's going to henka you right away.
Oh, obviously, I'm saying this from the comfort of Jake's home in Iowa, literally half a world away from the guy.
Yeah. On the other hand, as pathetic as sometimes the matches end up looking, he is 5'11" and 150 pounds, and he's been training in sumo wrestling for 5 years.
I've got almost 40 pounds on the guy. I could take him.
Yeah. I feel like this is a weird trap that there's no way we will ever find out, but I'm strangely invested in the question.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Somehow I am strangely very invested in this
All right.
question.
Ryan versus Hattori Sakura. Let's go for it.
Yeah. All right.
up.
Everybody listening to this podcast, somehow make it happen. Street fight, back corner brawl, I don't care how. Ryan versus Hattori Sakura.
This is the interesting dynamic of a live episode where we're saying stuff out to people a lot more often.
Yeah.
Like, make us friends with people. Set
I
up
like
this
it.
match for us. No, I like it too. I think it's just an interesting
Ooh,
change.
Hattori Sakura would be a great joke character in WWE. Thank you, Carolina. Sorry.
Can you just comment how to say your name, because I feel bad every time if I'm saying it wrong. But I do appreciate the comments very much. Thank you.
No, he would be a fantastic character that like just comes out, gets beat, but he's like a comedy joke character.
Santino.
Yeah, and then just every once in a while, like you make people believe that you're actually gonna do something with him, and then just everybody gets so excited, but then you pull the rug out from under him. It's the greatest thing.
He'd be the guy that comes out during the comedy segment on Raw, like when the Undertaker's music hits and he comes out like, and it's like, oh, ho, ho, but it's just Hattori Zakura dressed up like him.
Yeah, and then
Gold.
Undertaker throws him like 5 rows deep into the crowd.
Yeah, but then like, the real Undertaker shows up to save him or something.
Yeah. So let's move on to, I believe, and a real, actual, in-depth sumo question. Who did you just thumbs up, Jake?
Us in general?
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're doing pretty good today.
That was a fun little segment. I liked that.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good today, Ryan.
Thank you. At
You smell okay.
I smell fantastic. At Sunlan Satori asks us, it appears if Hakuho desperately wants to wait until after the Olympics to retire and the games are delayed because of coronavirus, how do you see the end of his career playing out? I think in the case of coronavirus canceling the Olympics, my guess is sumo is also canceled for that basho. That'd be the Nagoya basho.
Right.
It's possible. I think Olympic Committee might be a little bit more like stringent on that kind of thing opposed to sumo.
I mean, there's been a lot of chatter
about
it being canceled. I don't think this is something that can be delayed. It's a real possibility at this point.
Yeah. I was just saying to the point of sumo being canceled at the same time. It's kind of two different governing bodies.
Quick interruption here. Molly says that Santino is now an announcer in judo tournaments.
Huh.
That is the coolest thing I've heard in a long time.
Who's Santino?
He's a WWE guy.
He's the joke wrestler we were talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Continue. That one was too good to pass up. Hakuho though.
Yeah, Hakuho. I guess I interrupted your take on it, Ryan. If you want to finish it.
Yeah. So I think if the Olympics are canceled, then there's not going to be a Nagoya, and I think Hakuho doesn't straight up retire at that point. But I think the next basho where he pulls out of, that's it. He's done. I think he'll keep going as long as he can keep going. But if at any point, I think that's probably how it'll happen, Olympics or not. He'll keep going until he has to pull out of a tournament and then call it a career.
Sure. The fact that he's 7-0 here proves that he still can do it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but how often can he do it? Because we're still in a trend of Hakuho. Every other tournament he's in and he's out. So I'm fully expecting no Hakuho in the next one.
Yeah. I think that's pretty close to what's going to go down. I'm going to try to take a hot take of where after Nagoya he's going to be done, because he's going to look at the Jungyo for the August time, like the whole kind of summer Jungyo, and he's going to like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so he'll be out.
oh well. I don't know. I struggle to make any sort of prediction because it makes me very sad.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of like we talk about it a lot about, this generation being ready to retire and turn over a little bit here. And I'm excited for the time when Hakuho is gone, but I'm also excited for the time that Hakuho is still around, and the time in between I will be very sad briefly.
Yeah.
But I will be happy on both ends of that.
Yeah. So we had another question from Carolina asking, will Hakuho become Hakuho Oyakata soon? He's definitely going to become an Oyakata. I think it's in doubt in whether he will be allowed to be Hakuho Oyakata or if he will have to take another elder stock name, because there's the rule with the elder stocks that if you're like a Dai Yokozuna, an all-time great Yokozuna, you can take your wrestling name and and create your own stable and use that your wrestling name as your name, like Takano Hana and Chiyo no Fuji had the opportunity.
He had the opportunity, but he
it.
didn't do it.
Yeah. I think in the past, I think it was about 10 Yushos or maybe 20 Yushos was the. I feel like 10 was.
I think it was 20 because only 3 people have done it.
Yeah.
It's been Takano Hana, Taiho, and then it starts with a K, but I can't remember.
Kitanoumi.
Yeah.
Kitanoumi, thank you.
So, yeah, there's definitely precedence of where the number of Yushos and the amount of dominance would get you there. And Hakuho obviously has surpassed that.
But It's also about the level of like dignity and your character as a person, which it sounds like a lot of people are taking into question into whether or not because it's an honor to be allowed to do that. And so there's some people that are thinking he's done enough stuff in his career that they don't think he would be despite being the all-time greatest sumo wrestler, he wouldn't be worthy of that designation.
I kind of see where they're coming from. It just, from my point of view, that just sounds super petty. But
That's exactly the word I was going to say. That is unbelievably petty to be like, you're the greatest of all time, but we think you're kind of a dick.
yeah,
Like, come on.
yeah.
Either way, he'll be either Hakuho Oyakata or probably Miyagino Oyakata. I don't know Miyagino's plans, but who knows? He's going to be an Oyakata. He's going to start his own stable. He's going to bring Enho, Ishiura, and a couple of those other Uchideshi with him.
I think if he's starting a new stable, then he wouldn't continue the Miyagi-No or...
I don't know how. It's all still confusing.
We'll find out when he retires.
Yeah. Another question from Twitter, at Casey Mustang asks, has your correspondent B been quarantined? Is he going to be allowed back into the country? Do his media credentials allow him access to the Basho? In short, we haven't heard from B in a little while.
I'm sure he's fine.
Starting to get a little worried, but yeah, he's probably fine. As for his media credentials, that was drawn on a cardboard box with a crayon by Fleric. It's been working so far, but under the higher scrutiny of this Basho, where they might actually look at his media credentials, he might not have made it into the tournament. Actually, now that I think about his recaps, he might not have been making it into the tournaments at all.
I don't know. I do swear I heard, I think it was day 2 or 3 in the background, I think I did hear somebody yell in English, give him the chair.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's right.
I don't know. That would be my guess is that he's there somewhere. But
so Joe Hobbs, she had left to actually watch day 7, ask what she missed. There's
nothing in particular.
Real good talk about supermarkets. We talked about how amazing I smell. We solved world hunger. And we also decided who would win in a fight between us and Hattori Sakura. So a lot of important things were gone, Joe. I would highly recommend listening to this podcast once we release it in audio form.
Download it a few dozen times.
Yeah.
Pump our numbers up.
It's been gold. We have another question from AM Hilton 4 from Twitter. He says that he loves Koto Shogiku to death, but is it time for him to hang up the Mawashi and retire? What do you guys think about Koto Shogiku? And we'll throw Tochi Noshin in there. He's another former Ozeki that he started 1-6 this tournament. He's probably going to be lower Maegashira ranks, and if he doesn't turn it around, possibly Juryo next Basho. What do you think about those two guys and retiring sometime soon?
I think that they are in that situation that we've seen a lot of times that we talked about it back when Terano Fuji was still injured and falling down the ranks, that no former Ozeki had stuck around after being promoted or after being demoted below Juryo, I believe it was. Like sometimes former Ozekis would stick around in Juryo for a little bit, but usually there's some sort of cutoff that they deem is the point where they're done. So for Goedo, it was once I'm not an Ozeki, I'm done.
Yeah.
Koto Shogaku, it's probably either when I get to Juryo or certainly when I get past Juryo, then I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard anything in particular of what his actual opinion is, but I'm sure it's one of those two cutoffs. And I mean, if you're getting paid and you can stick around for a little while, I can understand like that motivation. As a former Ozeki, his salary is probably pretty banging.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't see the same struggle in Koto Shogaku that I see in like Tochinoshin or Takayasu. It's not his body is completely falling apart. It's just that he's
older.
not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
and
just older.
That's less painful to watch. Tochinoshin, on the other hand, that just hurts.
I don't know. As long as you're making the beating people and still like getting a paycheck, I say keep on riding all the way down to Juryo. Just keep with it.
We got a good question from Tommy in our chat. He's asking us, what do we think is the cause of Takakeisho's mediocre start? He is 4-3 in this Basho so far. Is it experimenting with his style, his nagging injury, nerves? So what do you guys think is kind of the cause of his slow start? I believe he's lost to Mitaki Yumi, Asanoyama, and then some other dude.
Yeah, Oki
Yeah.
no Umi.
Sumo-
Okinoumi. Yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
Sumo
remember-
database is doing its thing. The
Right.
Down.
fifth member of the podcast is crap in the bed here. So
I have a little bit of a take on this. I think his loss against, I think just some good competition this time around. His loss against Mitakayumi, I think Mitakayumi's a little bit on fire, a little bit returned to form. And so I think that was just kind of a very close match, and he just didn't come up on the top this time. And his one against Okinoumi, he actually somehow made that a belt battle. And we don't see that often against Takakeisho, but we saw that immediately as soon as that happened, Takakeisho was done for. So I think he just kind of got tricked into having that situation happen, and it was just game over from there. So I think he's still very good, but I think the level of competition has risen, and I think he just kind of made a mistake in one match.
Yeah, and I know the Okinoumi match, like Okinoumi got on Takakeisho's belt immediately. In the flash of an eye, there was no chance for Takakeisho to do anything else. And we all know if somebody gets to Takakeisho's belt, there's not a whole lot he and his T-Rex arms can do to stop it.
yeah. Oh man. Nah, I don't know. There have been some times where he just seems not just the belt. It does seem like he's a touch slower, a touch less aggressive with his pushing. I don't know. It doesn't. It's not something obvious where it's like he's favoring that arm or he's favoring that leg. It just seems like, maybe there's something that hurts just enough to slow him down or something.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It's possible his training's been affected by the whole coronavirus stuff as well.
That's true. Yeah, just anything that upsets the routine could potentially, be a cause for,
Yeah, especially for like champion level players, they definitely have a routine.
Yeah.
And-
Getting off the rhythm or something, something that's just not normal or what they want.
And as I mentioned in our preview episode, the one training report I was able to see from Chris Sumo said that Takakeisho was kind of nursing one of his legs, so he could have some sort of nagging injury that's holding him down. I don't know. We'll see how he does in the second week. I think the only two guys ahead of him are Kakuryu and Hakuho, and I still think he could beat them, especially Kakuryu. So he could still end up with a good record. Maybe it's just some early bumps. We'll see how it ends up.
Yeah. I'm not worried about him, I guess. I'm sure he'll be okay at least.
Yeah. So at this time, typically on our Midway episode, we do a little lightning round. So we've had plenty of interaction. I think it's safe to do this. We can start a little lightning round with the people in the chat as well. So, Fleric, who has impressed you the most so far this Basho? And chat, feel free to throw in your answers as well.
Mitakayumi. I was not prepared for this at all, but he has been impressing me, so I like him.
I would say Asanoyama for me. He's doing pretty well, of course, but there's also I have seen some significant deja vu in his style of sumo. Reminds me so much of Kiseno Sato. What little we saw of Kisei when he was at the top. Mm-hmm. Just his immovability. He's been very fun.
Yeah, I probably have to go with Mitakayumi, probably because I wasn't expecting it at this point. But
you are never expecting it from him.
Well, he's at the point where he's first week Mitakayumi, where he looks unstoppable, and then it seems like one loss turns into two, turns into three. He has that loss against Hakuho. We'll see if he can rebound from it. But right now, he's been one, and he beat Asanoyama, so I think he's been one of the more impressive Rikishi so far.
I love the joke of first week Mitakayumi. Once again, he drops down to Maegashira, so he has the hardest matches in the first week.
Yeah.
And so when second week comes around, he has some easier matches.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's in a different spot this time, so it could be a little bit of a different thing.
He's just here to farm Kimboshi and take you shows.
Hokuto Fuji style, farming those kimboshis.
Heck yeah.
Oh no, it was too quick. I was trying to read one. Tommy says, Tochi Ozan, I didn't think he could lose so much, but he absolutely surprised me.
All right, so obviously we have to go in the other direction. Jake, who has disappointed you the most so far?
Sorry, there was a quick question I wanted to address here. If we were Rikishi, what injuries would plague our careers?
Oh.
And my wife already answered for me. It's my back. My back I would try to lift a dude on day one, and then I would be Kyujo. That would be it.
My intestines, I have Crohn's disease, and my immune system is attacking them relentlessly.
So add like 4 pounds of rice a day to that whole situation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have more small intestine removed, and that would just be the end of my career. Flerick, what about you?
My knees, definitely.
Do you have bad knees?
Kind of. It's been a lot better since I've done like a lot more lifting kind of stuff.
And you stopped doing sumo?
Yeah, and I definitely stopped doing sumo.
Healthiest decision a human can make.
Yeah, no. As you guys know, I love to play ultimate frisbee, and running around a lot is high impact, especially changing directions. But I've had some knee pain in the past. It's been a little bit better, though, I would say.
Ryan would also have constant concussions.
Ding, ding, ding. That is the true answer.
Yep, we figured it out.
Gabby, as you were obviously listening to this, I did wang my head pretty good on a hung potted plant in
about
the
an
recording
hour and a half
room.
ago.
So, yeah, concussions would be my thing. I did see for a couple of other nominations for people that have been impressive. Abi, somebody mentioned. He's been looking okay. I think he's like 4-3. We've got another Mitake Yumi vote in there. So, yeah, let's move on to who has disappointed you the most so far. Jake.
Oh, of course, you go to me right away first here. I guess I wouldn't say Takayasu personally, but the whole situation with him has been my most disappointing bit of the Basho.
Yeah, I think I got to go with my personal favorite as well, Hokuto Fuji. He has that win over Kakuryu, but it's only one of 2 wins at this point. He's 2-5.
And he's putting up a fight, as he always does, but it's just not translating to results this time around.
He really seems like every other Basho kind of guy. How about you, Flerick?
I think probably Tochinoshin. I think he's definitely injuring, but I think he still has a good shot against people around him, but he's just not being able to get those wins.
Something is super off with him.
That match we mentioned earlier with all the grunting was he did actually get a full solid lift on Takara Fuji, which was really cool.
And then Takara Fuji returned the favor.
Yeah,
I can't remember who got it first, but it was like back to back. One guy lifts and then the other guy lifts. It was a fun match, and it was shades of like what he used to be able to do, but the fact that he can't do it very often is it's rough.
Let's go back, see if we've got anything from the chat.
Takayasu, I agree with Joe there.
Yep. We got somebody saying that Hokuto Fuji's going to turn it around. Meisei, that's right. Yeah, he's been pretty disappointing at the bottom of the Bansuke. He typically does really well when he's in this position.
He was kind of in that like Daisho mold for a little bit, where it's like, is this the next guy that's going to stick around in the top ranks? And no, not the case.
Yeah. We've got another vote for Tochinoshin. It's sad to see him try his signature lift move and then whiff. Yeah, there was somebody where he got completely up. I don't remember who, like walked across most of the
Yoshi.
dojo.
I have that one written down here. And then he
that's-
lost.
Yeah,
God.
that was. I think that was more just really good on Terutoyoshi. He was going against. He was able to just kind of counter that. Very well.
But it says a lot that it's not an invincible move anymore. You know, if it can be countered, then it sucks.
Robbie's also saying M and M are making him sad. My guess is Miyogiryu and Meisei. Those are the 2 M names that are doing really bad this Basho. So that's my guess for M and M, because the only other one I can think of is Mitake Yumi, and he's obviously doing great.
He's the most disappointing to me
1-6.
because he couldn't beat a Yokozuna.
All right, so let's move on to...
I see Carolina says Hoshoryu too.
He's 4-3, so he's got a winning record right now.
We want him in Makuuchi like right now.
That's true.
Now, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right, what do we got next?
So next is going to be favorite match of the Basho so far, and I don't take as good of notes as you guys, but I seem to remember Mitake Yumi versus Asanoyama being a really strong back and forth match, and so that's the one that's sticking out in my head. So I'm going to go with that one, and it's one of the things that Flerick likes. These are 2 guys that are going to be big names in the future, facing off, having a great match. So I'm going to go with that one as my favorite match so far.
Yeah, I kind of hinted to it before, but the Haku versus Takayasu match, I super love that. That's why I didn't actually mention. I'm kind of disappointed that Takayasu got injured and he didn't have very many wins. Did he get any wins? Oh, yeah,
no.
But he definitely had some really good matches, and I love the fact that he was going against top guys right away, being down Maegashira. And Hakuho versus Takayasu, Hakuho brought it. Like, he just really realized, this is a former Ozeki. If I need to bring my A game if I have a chance to win this.
Yeah.
And it was just a fantastic match. The intensity was just great.
Yeah, I'm going to second the Mitake Yumi Asanoyama. Yeah, I mean, you already mentioned it, but yeah, that Tochinoshin Takurufuji grunt fest / lift fest.
That was really fun.
That's another one that's up there for me.
If they were higher profile guys, I hate to say it, they're in the middle of the Bansuke. If they were higher up the Bansuke, that could easily have been match of the Basho. There's just not as many stakes on the line for those guys, so it doesn't get as much attention, I feel like.
We got another vote for Mitakayumi versus Asanoyama, and then a vote for Yutakayama Enho.
I disagree with
I
that.
had so much fun with it. It depends on what you're looking for in a match.
Yeah.
If you're looking for the one that's like the weirdest, most entertainingly new or different, for sure, that one's on the list. That's like I think
a
of
lot
it like
Enho matches in general.
what am I? Yeah, what are the matches I'm going to remember the specific match after this Basho, and that's up there for sure.
That's true.
That's
I mean,
true.
if you like a good sumo match, you want Mitakayumi versus Asanoyama. If you want a good patty cake match, you want Yutakayama versus Enho.
If you want one that will show you something you haven't seen before at this level of sumo, there you go.
We got a vote for Tokushoryu beating Kakuryu as well. That was, if I remember correctly, that was fairly dominant by Tokushoryu too. Like it wasn't a
was
hard-fought
dominant
battle.
It was dominant in the sense that he didn't immediately get destroyed.
Yeah.
So I think that there may be some bias there, but I don't know. I thought it was fun because of the result, but the sumo itself was, not mind-blowing on its own. But yes, as an event, yeah, that was cool.
All right. And our final question is always, who's going to win it? I think the obvious answer everybody is going to say, including us, is Hakuho. That I would be okay with. If somehow Tokushoryu won 9-6, which would require everybody else to have at least 6 losses, and then Tokushoryu winning and probably like a crazy 7 or 8 way playoff.
That's
I'm
the
here
only
for
way
that.
it could happen.
I am here for that Basho.
Yeah, if the rest of Basho gets canceled, do they just go with the previous Yusho winner to be the winner?
Ooh. That could be the case. Like, is Virginia still the NCAA men's basketball champions?
They get to leave the flag up for another year or something?
Yeah.
It could be.
You get another parade.
So besides Tokushoryu and Hakuho, who does everybody think could win this tournament?
Asanoyama's my pick. Just haven't changed my mind since the beginning here when we were talking about him.
Yeah. I think Asanoyama is probably the best bet. I do think if you're looking for a dark horse, your guy's probably Aoyama this Basho.
Sure.
He's been looking really good and really strong with his Tsupari attack.
His push, wait, pull.
Yes.
Like that technique that somehow, like, he has 2 moves that he uses in the exact same cadence almost every time.
Yeah.
But he is doing it very well this Basho.
Yeah, and I think he's far enough down the Bansuke where he's not going to get any tests until it's like the final couple days. Like, oh crap, this guy might win the Yusho.
Give him like one Sanyaku match on day 15 or something. God,
Yeah.
I'm still bitter about the Tokushoryu thing. Oh, well.
You watch your mouth. Tokushoryu, that was the best. He is a national treasure.
I didn't want that to happen until after it happened and we kind of got to know who he was. And then it's like, yeah, then I felt a lot better about him winning. Whatever. We covered that a ton on our last recap episode, but he is a fun character for sure.
Yeah. You guys are sleeping on Mitakayumi again. What's going on? He has 2
Yes,
Yushos.
we are. That's correct.
He has 2 Yushos. Like, he normally gets like 8 and 7, and he's been doing pretty good so far. I think I think he's my favorite. I think as we're going, obviously Hakuho, I think is a favorite, but I think the next one to kind of give him some chance is probably Takayumi along up there with Asanoyama.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. He is in that, like, there's the tier of Hakuho by himself, and then there's probably Asanoyama, Mitakayumi. Then below that, guys like Aoyama or maybe Takakeisho if he can get his head out of his butt, things like that.
Yeah.
Or Takanosho, who I swear I've never heard of him.
I mean, this is only probably like his 5th or 6th Basho in the top division, but you should know him by now.
Don't think I've ever seen him wrestle.
Okay, so I think it's about time. This has gone on a lot longer than a usual Midway episode. For good reason. We've had a lot of fun talking with people. So just a couple of quick updates. Jake, where is the Grand Sumo Breakdown belt currently residing?
Firmly around Ura's waist. He is 3-0 as of the end of day 7, so that's not going anywhere.
All right, and a quick champ chump update. Mac and Flerick are tied for the lead with 10 points apiece right now. The fans are right behind with 9 points. Jake is hovering close by at 8 points, and I chose Takayasu as my champ. So I have 4 points and will be the loser.
Almost
quite
certainly.
definitively.
Because you got Diamami as your chump, who is not doing great, but
He's 3
not,
and 4.
but he's not like completely collapsing.
Yeah.
Tokushoryu was the right pick for a chump, I think, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Oh well. No, I had Takakeisho as my champ, which isn't playing out that great, and Kageyaki as my chump, which is also not playing out that great. Kageyaki, I'll spare 5 seconds for him. He's doing better than I expected. Good for him. His sumo is still not super fun to watch.
Hey, he actually kept it to under 5 seconds. So unless you guys have anything else you want to say, Jake, let's check to see if we have any last comments from the people checking it out. We just got a couple of fans saying that Hakuho looks like he is going to be the one to win this. So with that, we are going
all on the same page there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to wrap up the Midway episode for the Haru Basho. If you enjoyed this podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service. Also, you can buy a Grand Sumo Breakdown t-shirt on redbubble.com starting later today.
Yeah, next couple hours probably.
Yes.
Yeah, you can find us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can also find this Facebook Live video on Facebook as well.
Our blog is grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com. We got that email that Mac usually talks about, and it's something
comments,
about a phone.
questions, or corrections.
That's it.
To grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 805-613-7866. That is 805-613-SUMO. So just want to say thank you to everybody who joined in with us on Facebook Live and participated with us. We greatly appreciate you guys making this a good experience for all of us. Hopefully we will be able to do this again in the future. And to all the people that were just listening to this in audio form, as you usually do, thank you for listening as well. We greatly appreciate that. Maybe you can join us live sometime.
Yep, more feedback so that we know what people are looking for, what you guys enjoy. If the quality on this sounds good enough on Facebook Live, then I think it was easy enough for us to set up that we would do it whenever we feel like it.
Yep. So with that, we will see you guys for the Haru review episode, which will be shortly, sometime the week after it ends. We will see you guys later.
Peace.
Do I have to like turn it off, or what do I do?
I don't know.
You have to hit end
I'm sure
live
it's
video.
fine. Let's just go about our days.
So orgy then?
I think that's what I saw next on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, once again, thank you to everybody.
Is it still going?
Yeah,
That
it's
probably
still
is.
going.
How do I stop it? What do I do?
You hit end live video. Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time.
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.